Welcome to us, UnHeard Stories, and I am your host, the Modest Introvert. The upcoming individual I will introduce is deeply dedicated to her profession and equally committed to making a positive impact on her community. She tirelessly devotes herself to giving back without expecting much in return. Despite being a single mother to two grown children, her path has been far from easy or straightforward. In addition to her passion for her work and community involvement, she possesses a remarkable resilience and determination. Despite the challenges she has faced, she remains unwavering in her commitment to making a difference. Her unwavering spirit serves as an inspiration to those around her. Despite her busy schedule and personal responsibilities, she consistently finds ways to contribute to causes she believes in and uplifts those in need. Her altruism and unwavering devotion make her a genuine source of inspiration for others. The content discussed in this podcast is intended for informational purposes only and is based on personal experiences and should not be considered as professional advice, definitive, or absolute. Listeners are encouraged to conduct their own inquiries and seek professional advice as necessary. Welcome to the show, Anita.
Thank you so much. Nice to be here.
Great. So, Anita, I just want to start first by talking about what is a caregiver? What is it that you do?
Okay, basically, normally maybe a patient that goes in for op. So before the op, we call it a pre-op. So you getting the patient ready for that pre-op and explaining to them what's going to happen during or after the operation. And then you have the post-op where you go in after they've had the operation and is now at home. So helping them on their way to recovery. So that includes exercise, your physio, your boarding, basically looking after their patients and just getting them back to where they were.
And what made you decide to go into this line of work?
Well, it wasn't always something I wanted to do or thought I'd do. Due to a stroke about 15 years ago, I saw how it was and how people are treated basically with a disability. So that sort of drove me to where I am today.
So you were the one that suffered the stroke.
Yes, I suffered a massive stroke about 10, say 12 years ago.
Wow. You wouldn't say, looking at you now. I mean, you're so healthy and you've,
Determination, if I didn't tell you, you would never know. Yes,
yes.
I do suffer with that odd pain now and again, sometimes with the weather. But yes, I've learned to deal with it. It was very hard for 1.5 years. I couldn't use my right side. But with physio also, physiotherapy, seeing a psychologist, psychiatrist also, because it was very hard because I'm right-handed, so it was my right hand that was affected. But yes, I worked very hard, and in that, I knew that I needed to help others in my situation also. Maybe not a stroke, but something similar. And yeah, that's where I am because I saw at hospitals, at places that you went to, public places, how people treated you, especially if you had a disability and stuff like that. So yes, I wanted to help, but my passion is working with our older people. I call
Okay.
them my little babies because they tend to be like children, the older they get. But it's such a passion, and I've worked with them for like 5 years in an old age home, working with patients with dementia. So I've learned to adapt and appreciate where I was and where I am today. So yes, giving back my old people.
Wow. That is truly an amazing journey that you've had. So through your own experience, you saw that there was a
A
need for this
need,
kind of
a need.
work to be done.
Yes, definitely.
So when you were in that situation a long time ago, was there the help for you or was there no help for you at that particular time?
Um, okay, I had the help of my family, yes. And then, of course, I had a psychologist and a psychiatrist that I went to see. But outside public, people sort of shunted you because now you couldn't do what you used to do, and you're not the same person that you were before. So I wouldn't say I had much help. But yes, with the help of God and with my family, I managed to get through it.
That
Because I
that
could
is.
have been bedridden today or, stayed with that disability if I didn't have that passion and that goal to tell myself that I would get better.
Mm,
And I always say that's my, how can I say, my motto. You can do it. It can
yes.
be done,
And I think you are living proof that it can be
Yes,
done,
it can be
because
done.
I do understand that it's very difficult when you are in that situation. And it's not only you that's going
Exactly.
through that ordeal, it's your family
It's
and
your
the
family
people
as well.
around you that's
Yes.
also going
Because
through.
they also need to learn how to adapt,
Yes.
to helping now. Because now, like I said, I was right handed. So this affected my whole right side. And it was very hard for them. And my kids were still a bit small at that time. So that was difficult. But like I say, with God's help and with the passion and with the determination to get better, I had to, for the sake of my kids and for myself, you know?
And prior to your ordeal,
Mhm.
were you working before that?
Yes, I was. I worked in the electronic industry for about 22 years.
Wow.
So that's where I was before that. And it was one Friday afternoon. The girls, it's almost time to knock off. And we were sitting just having a chat, what you're doing for the weekend. And then we started laughing. I can't remember exactly what it was about. And when I looked again, I was in the hospital.
Oh my.
So it was a happy moment. So I can't understand how it happened or why it happened. But like we say, God, we can't ask questions why, who, where.
Yes.
Yeah, it's something that just happens. And unfortunately, we need to just deal with it the best we can.
And now, fast forward to now.
Yes,
So, how many years have you been doing this work?
I would say just over 10 years.
That is a very long time.
Just over 10
And
years.
to to be doing this work needs a lot of strength, inner strength,
Inner
right?
strength,
Inner strength, a lot of belief, not only in yourself,
self,
but belief
if in
in
your
the
patience.
Almighty as well.
Yes.
Because for you to have to deal with the patients that you deal with, it's not easy.
No, it's not.
So, how do you deal with that? Because they are going through an ordeal. They
Yes.
have some kind of trauma or they have some kind of illness, and you are taking care of them. How do you deal with all of that?
On a day-to-day basis, it's hard depending on your patients and depending their situation. Like I said, if it's a stroke and whatever, I can relate. So I will share my story, you understand,
Mm,
giving them that little bit of hope that things can get better.
yes.
Also, it depends on the age,
Okay.
you understand? And then, how can I put it now? Like I say, with most of my patients that I had, I think it's just the way you speak to them because, you can come across as harsh. Um, patience, patience is the key, and love and understanding. Love and understanding. You must have a passion. I don't know where my passion came from, maybe from my own experiences, but yes. And I felt that if I couldn't deal with them for whatever reason, I would look at them and think, okay, this could be my mom or this could be my dad. And you would know how you would treat your mom and dad, how you would speak to them.
Yes.
So you'd give that off. And I won't say I didn't have problems, no, but it was an easier journey for me, telling myself, okay, this is my mom, this is how I would,
Mm,
speak to her, and this is how I would treat her. And they grow to love you. And it's sometimes very hard because you're going home and you're thinking, well, I see you tomorrow, depending, like I say, depending on their
yes.
situation.
Yes.
Because I've done something I shouldn't have, where I always, always, always get attached.
I think it's very hard not to
Not
get
to.
attached. But then I think once you bring that emotion
Yes.
into that kind of situation, it's very hard to detach yourself
It,
from that
it is
situation as
because
well.
most of them, especially with those in the old age home, they get used to you.
Yes.
So when you're leaving, they sort of now getting agitated and where are you going to? Are you coming back? I'm sorry if I was naughty today, to make
Yes.
sure that you are coming, that you're not angry with them for leaving. And then I would leave and I would sit in the taxi or whatever. And I would think to myself, I hope she's gonna be okay tonight, Then I'd phone night shift. How's so and so doing, things like that. So I always took it very personal
Mm.
because it was something close to my heart. So yeah.
So it's a lot to carry for someone of your small nature. So
But
Anita is a very small built person, and she's always has a smile on her face. She's a jovial person. So I can't understand you being in this situation and having all of this emotions, and you carry around these emotions with you. So it's not easy for someone to be able to do this. So I just want to pause there, and I just want to look at it from your view on
mm-mm.
how the family of your patients react to all of this.
Well, from my experience with the people, or I'll say my patients that I've worked with, I've never had a problem. I think it's also a lot is based on my personality. You understand? I'm very open and I'm very straightforward. So I think they appreciate that as well. And I think from the way I treat my patients or the way I speak to them, most of them are comfortable from day one. They in that comfort zone where they can say, okay, I can leave you alone and go out. I know mama's in safe hands. Like I'm saying, I've never had any negative,
That's very good.
feedback in all the years that I've worked. And I've worked with quite a few people, a lot of doctors also, where they gave me patients. You understand? Like maybe post op, or maybe it was one of their
Okay.
patients that
Yeah.
went in for a op. Then they would phone me, Anita, are you available? I got a patient that's coming out of hospital, stuff like that. So it's always by referral.
Okay.
Most of my patients I get is always by referral. I don't work under anybody, I work for myself. So if they phone me, one of the doctors or somebody that I've worked with before, hi Anita, are you available? My mom's sister's not well, or she's went for a op. Are you available? And then we'll go in, we'll chat, and we take it from there. Like I'm saying, most is referral. So by the time
Okay.
that a client calls me, they already know half
Yes.
of me or the type of person I am. So it's just for them to meet me and
Well, that's nice to know that, people feel that sense of comfort
mm,
once they start having a conversation with you.
yes,
And I think
yes,
that is very key because they know that they're entrusting you with their parents or sister or brother, with that
mm,
person's
mm,
life,
mm.
and you are there to make sure that the patient is comfortable, but at the end of the day, the family is also making sure that you are comfortable
Oh,
as
yes,
well.
definitely, definitely. I've always been made to feel at home, like it's my home. And yes, if I'm comfortable and they comfortable, we won't have a problem. You understand? I always say it works both ways. You make me happy, I'll make you happy. And I'm always there to compromise. I get people that can't afford. I don't charge the normal rate because I don't know. I don't know how to explain it, but yes. So
But
you,
so I'm sure you must be in touch with your the families of patients who have now passed on.
yes, I
You're
am.
probably still in touch with those
Yes.
families because there's still that kind
Y-
of bond or some
Yes.
kind of relationship that you fostered with these
Definitely,
families.
definitely, definitely.
And it must be nice, like to have like a for them to phone you up or like,
Yes,
meet you somewhere and you
most
have that
most
conversation
days
with them.
I'd say once a week. I always get somebody that I've been with before. Some of them have recovered maybe from a hip operation and stuff like that. So I do get that odd call. I was invited out now over, is it Eid
Yes,
that you'll have?
yes.
Yeah, so they invite me over. Anita, are you at home? What you doing? Can we come pick you up? So I always have that little bit. Or someone will WhatsApp me, how you doing? I haven't spoken to you for a long time. Are you well? Yeah, so I've always had that, you know.
No, that's
And it's very
comforting.
hard to let go, especially if I was with my patient for more than 3 months. I did have a patient for running for about 9 months. And hence I've learned a lot also from those doctors. You understand? Because I was there like 3 times a week with my patients.
Okay.
So eventually I got to know everybody and everybody knew who I was. And from there, after my patients had passed on, I got all those people, coming back to me
Yes, yeah,
because they saw me every day. And now and again, I used to go in and help, just to get a little bit more experience.
yes.
I may just be a caregiver, but there's a lot I can do. I do wound dressings, wound care. Um, I,
And that's not for the squeamish, especially
exactly,
if you
exactly.
can't stand the sight
If
of
you
blood,
can't,
or
yes.
you don't like
You know how to
anything that
do burn
deals with
dressings. I learned a
medicals.
lot. I learned a lot from just watching and working with them. I always went a little bit out of my way. So
But at the end of the day, it has paid off
it has paid off definitely, definitely.
because you're not only caring for that patient, you form a bond, you form that relationship with them. And I think that's key in this line of work. It's trust that has to go both
It has to
ways.
work both
It's
ways.
understanding,
Standing,
it's that patience, but over and above all of that, it's that love and care that
care,
you do. And you do all of this because you have this passion for what
passion.
you do. So, Anita, I'm going to pause on your professional career for a while, right? And
Okay.
I just want to delve a little into your personal life. Now, y- you have family of your own,
Yes,
right?
yes, I
Do you
do.
have kids?
I have two kids. I'm a single mom with two kids, yes.
And are they adult kids? Are they?
Adult kids, my daughter's 35. My son will be 30 this year. My baby.
And
Yeah.
I'm sure in the work that you do, right, as a caregiver,
Mm,
it takes away time away from your family, or it did take away time away from
mm,
your family. How did your kids feel? I mean, you being a single mom, you
yes.
had two kids. How did they feel about you and the work that you were doing?
No, they actually loved the job that I did. They were quite impressed, that I could do all this because it wasn't for me. My sister's a nurse. And yes, that's her, that was her passion, but what was never mine until I had this job. My kids were very understanding, but I always had my mom. My
Okay.
mom's always been there for me, so as that support. And if the kids needed to be watched, but they were teenagers, so it was fine. It was fine.
Well, at least, well, that's good that you have,
Yes,
and I'm sure you still have a good support
yes, no,
structure, being your
always,
family.
yes.
And how do your kids feel now that they are much older, that you're still doing this profession? How do they feel? Do they still feel the same, or
No,
they
they
are?
still feel the same, but they always think I overdo it. Well, I always try to keep busy. I'm just that little busybody that doesn't want to admit that she has a back pain or she has a pain in the arm, you understand? And I try to involve myself in a lot of things. I've adopted three families in the area that I'm living in Newlands East, where I see for their nappies, things where they either or needs nappies or is bedridden
Okay.
or sickly. So I've adopted three where I make sure they have meds if needed or their nappies which they can't afford and stuff like that. Yeah.
Wow. Uh, that's just incredible and amazing. Anita, uh, does this not take away? I mean, you spend a lot of time with your patients
Mm,
and the patients' families. What is it that you do for yourself? What is it that you do to unwind?
okay. I don't do a lot of that, but when I do, I love reading a good book
No, that's good.
or going to do what I need to do. We have a neighborhood watch where there's our majority is ladies, where we're going to help the unfortunate. Maybe there is an old couple, so we'd go that one. Maybe on a Monday, we'd cook to clean their homes, stuff
Okay.
like that. Yeah, I'm just involved in a lot of things. I'm not going to lie and say that I would love to sit on the beach. I don't get that time.
Yeah.
Somehow, I think I still want to do so much. And I know with God's help, one day I'll be able to do what I want to do, you
I
know?
think you're already doing a lot. I mean, you have your own patients that you have to deal with on a daily basis. And then when you go home, you're still active in your
It's still
community.
active every night without fail. Every night we go out. There's always something to do.
But I'm just trying to understand. You're doing so much, right, with your patients. And
Mm,
then when you come home, it's your time to unwind and then just to mentally relax
mm,
yourself, right? But you don't do that. You still go out and you want to help the community with your time
mm, mm,
and
mm.
in other way that you may able to
Yes, yes,
help them
yes.
as well. But then your brain is like, does it not go into overdrive with all of these things that you are seeing around
No, it
you?
does. It does. But um, I'm home. Okay. If I'm working, I'm home by 6 the latest. I will have a bath. I will do half an hour meditation, just to my
Okay.
day recap. Okay, I did this. And after that, I try and switch off where my job is concerned and just be that normal person without WhatsApping his mom. Fine.
Yes.
It's a habit. Then I'll, even middle of the night, I can get up and just on my phone, okay, right, do what I need to do. But I do find that like I say, a good book, maybe a good movie, but I don't do much.
Okay.
You
Do you find that you, at points in time, may want to talk to someone?
I do actually. I do actually. I have my two go tos that I could go to, I call them my
That's
go
very
tos.
good.
Yes, yes.
That's very good.
Where I can just unwind, cry if I need to,
Yes.
and just be me.
Yes.
Just be me. Yeah, so yes, I tried to. But with me, I think it was the stroke.
Okay.
You understand? I felt I had a second chance in life.
Yes.
So you're going to give it all you've got,
Yes.
to give back, to
Yes.
give back. Because I could have passed on or whatever with the condition I was in. But like I say, I found it as my second chance. The things I didn't do or, I was supposed to and I never. So you're trying to catch up. And I just want to give back. You
Yes.
understand? Just give back that little bit. Life hasn't been
I
easy.
think you're giving back a lot more than just a little bit
Life
because
hasn't been easy. So for me, it's just something to fulfill me.
I just want to understand your did you always were you born and raised in KwaZulu Natal?
No, I was born in Cape Town. I came to Durban. I think I must have been about maybe 6 years old when my mum and them came to Durban. Yeah.
Okay, and you've stayed here ever
I've
since.
stayed in Durban ever since.
Okay, and there was no need for you to venture outside of Durban.
Now I do venture, but only to visit. I've got family. My father's family is all in Cape Town, so but I haven't been for years, unfortunately. And I think the furthest of friends is Joburg. That was also just for a visit. No, no, I did go out, I think for about 3 months. I had a patient from Sherwood, and then they were relocating.
Okay,
So I had to wean myself off from her. So I couldn't just leave her like that because she was used to me. So I went with them. I was supposed to be there a week. I ended up being there for about 3 months.
okay.
Yeah, before coming back down. So yes, no.
And tell me, when you were growing up in KwaZulu Natal and now, if you look back on all your time that's here,
Mm.
what can you say? Give me from your perspective, how was it growing up from then and how is it now?
Vast difference. Growing up, when I was growing up, life was easy, you know.
How is
But
it easy?
no, not easy. I mean, now you're dealing with drugs, you're dealing with violence, you're dealing with killing. We didn't have that, when I was growing up. And I grew up with very, very strict grandparents. My grandparents were strict. It wasn't easy, but it made me to be the person I am today.
Tell me, have you always stayed in the area that you're living in now, or have you moved around?
No, I have moved around a lot. So I grew up in Wentworth. But prior to that, my mom and them did stay in town. Yeah, and then it was Wentworth and then Newlands East. But when I left home, oh no, I did travel. Yeah? I moved all over. I was just like from pillar to post. I stayed a bit in Clear Estates, Reservoir Hills.
Okay, now that's very interesting.
Yeah, you know.
Yeah,
So I
very
met
interesting.
also over the years, I met a lot of people whom I'm still friends with today, you know.
No, that's very
Yeah,
nice.
because they helped me also.
I think it's your nature and the way you carry yourself for someone not to be friendly with you, or because you are engaging, you carry yourself well, and you are able to hold a
Mm,
conversation
mm,
with
mm,
someone. So that
mm.
is why when once they get to know you, they will want to continue having a conversation with you. But
But it's
it's nice 1 or 2 days where we need that time for us to de-stress,
yes.
because no matter what job you have, you need that off button.
You need to press off. I wish somebody could help me. I can press, come and press the off button. No, but I do try. On a good note, I do try to just have time to myself. Like I say, I can jump in the taxi and go sit on the beach front, you
Yes.
know, and just look at the waves or just watch out the water. And you'll find you've been sitting there, you think it's 5 minutes, and then you realize you've been sitting for 2 or 3 hours
Mm.
with a totally clear mind, you know, and so refreshed that when I'm coming back home, I'm like, wow. Yeah, so that's a part of what I can do,
Yes.
yes. And then
Yes.
also, like I said, a good book. I can read if it's a good book.
Yes.
So hence, maybe over 2 nights, I'll go to bed at 3 or 4. I'll realize it's 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning, and I still with this book. So that's what it is with me and books, depending on what I'm reading.
Wow. I don't know about you, but if I have to stay up till 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning, I become very cranky.
No, you
That
do. But like I'm saying, I think with me, I did a lot of night shift also. So, where you work
Okay.
nights and then your day, instead of sleeping, you would do whatever. Then you realize I haven't slept for so many days because during the day you need to do this. You're doing washing, you're doing everything else that you need to do, especially if you have kids. And then you realize, oh, it's time to bother and go to work. You haven't really had
Yes.
an hour or two, or maybe just an hour. And then you realize, oh no, I need to get up because I need to do A, B, C, and D,
Yes.
and your day's gone. So I don't know, my body is just programmed. Let me put it like that, to just keep going. My mom would tell me, or she would scold me time and time again. My daughter would do the same.
Anita, the patients that you engage with, right?
Mm-hmm.
They are from different like
Walks of life.
races, walks of life, and different cultures, right? And how do you um besides taking care of them, if
Mm-hmm.
you have to stay over with like a patient at
Mm-hmm.
the patient's home, um how do you relate to their culture? I mean, I'm sure they must have specific ways of doing certain things, or
Yes, they.
specific things they want to do for the patient. So being exposed to the culture, being exposed to different nationalities and races,
Mm-mm-mm-mm.
how do you handle those situations?
Well, when you have your interview, when you meet your client and your patient, they'll tell you. But I just fall in with them, you understand?
Okay.
I respect their culture or their beliefs or whatever. And if it's very important to my patients, then I would do whatever I needed to do. Like most of my patients over the years was from the Muslim community. You
Okay.
understand? So I know, the
Okay.
things that they do and stuff like that. So yes, you get used to it. And you need to do it to respect them because they would respect me in the same way. You
Okay.
understand?
I think that's also very
Yeah, so
important.
I know a lot about the Muslim culture. And yes, I've had other religions also. But
Okay.
you just respect, their religion and what they do. And sometimes I would actually join in, just to be comfortable and make them feel comfortable. And I think that's where, I get that where they just don't want to let you go,
Yeah,
because
because I think because you're going the extra mile, and you may not be you are present, you may not participate,
fate, yes,
right? But you are present in that
yes,
moment, in that
yes,
situation. And I think that is also adds to that level of trust,
mm,
and
mm,
that
mm,
that that to say that you are You are there. You are
Because if there's no
present.
shoes, I would respect that. When I come, I'll leave my know where to leave my shoes, and you're
Yes.
in your sockies or whatever it is with no shoes.
Nita's ability to overcome personal obstacles and navigate through adversity shows her resilience and strength of character. Through her actions, she not only uplifts individuals and communities, but also instills a sense of empathy and kindness in those who witness her remarkable journey. Her unwavering commitment to making a positive difference serves as a reminder that even one person can create a ripple effect of change and potentially inspire others to follow in her footsteps. Her story is a testament to the power of determination, compassion, and the profound impact one individual can have on the world around them. By embodying the values of giving back and overcoming adversity, she leaves an enduring imprint on the lives she impacts, forging a legacy that will resonate for generations to come. Thank you for your time, Anita. It's been a pleasure to get to know you.
Thank you for having me.
The views and opinions expressed in this podcast are solely those of the individuals participating in the discussion. The content provided is for informational purposes only and should not be taken as professional advice. The host and guest are not responsible for any actions taken based on the information shared during the podcast. Any reliance you place on such information is therefore strictly at your own risk. Furthermore, the podcast may occasionally discuss sensitive topics or personal experiences. The stories shared by the guests reflect their own perspectives and may not be representative of the entire population. It is important to remember that everyone's experiences and opinions may vary. The podcast host and participants strive to provide accurate and up to date information, but the dynamic nature of certain subjects means that information may become outdated or subject to change. We encourage listeners to do their own research and consult with professionals regarding specific matters. By listening to this podcast, you acknowledge and accept the above disclaimers. We appreciate your understanding and hope you enjoy the discussions and stories shared on us, Unheard Stories, with your host, the Modest Introvert.